Hey people, Intro here, 3v3 faction war. This is Greysuck Undercity and Imperial Guard versus the Eldar. For the Blue Guard team, E1 is a Lord Commissar strong offense and support fighting in melee begins. With this refractor shield, can also shoot his own fellas to inspire them. Alongside is Adreva's Lord General fighting in ranged combat begins with a retinue of Stormtroopers really strong defense and support can also add to the retinue. And this is the Mordian Iron Guard elite scheme. Rounding off the blue fellas is Soul Reaver as an Inquisitor, an offensive hero with powerful control abilities, begins in melee but can get specialized ranged weapons. On the red team, taking a bunch of damage here is TheOrangeMuppet and a Warp Spider Exarch, teleporting hero fighting in ranged combat by default. Great for capping and harassing, some powerful control. Grabs that central wreck point. Can they hold it though? Looks like the Warp Spider is going to be off the field. Alongside is John's Warlock, a melee spellcaster that leaps into combat, some powerful disruption and support. And this is the Harlequin's elite scheme. We're going to see him leap into combat in a moment here. Using his fleet, there we go. And there's a Disruptor, which misses. Rounding off the teams, Death from Below with a Farseer support hero fighting in melee with some powerful buffs and control. They are still holding that wreck point. Farseer using her fleet as well to maneuver around. She's already used her guide on those Guardians. Lord General's quite low. Special attack misses, but that's a big retreat there from Adreva, suggesting his ally gets back. I think the Sentinel's done for, you know, because that is guide on those Howling Banshees, doing bonus damage with their power weapons against the Sentinel. Sentinel does not have the ground pound, and down it goes. If it kept moving there smoothly, it may have been able to get away. Banshee's already getting a nice kill, supported by the Farseer. I think we have, yeah, both of these players using an Oathway scheme, so I'm going to get them confused quite a lot. What's this Inquisitor up to? Going for the VP, I guess. Warlock fleeing for his life, down to a single hit point. Did all of those shots miss? And again, the Sentinel fella's drunk. Send him home. Warlock gets away somehow. Shuriken on the field for TheOrangeMuppet. I mean, Eldar 101 against Imperial Guard in 3v3 is like Shurikens and Rangers. And then you back that up with Wraith Guard in tier 2. And then it's up to the Guard to disrupt the Shuriken using Catechins or Spotters and then nullify the Wraith Guard either by overwhelming DPS or use Ogryns to tie them up, or use your heroes to tie them up. And then of course if there are Ogryns you can respond with the Wraith Lord, but we'll see how it all plays out. Rangers there able to throw some good damage on the Sentinel. Soul Reaver's Sentinel is being replaced. Farseer is a little bit low on health, but she wants to stick around to guide things, and she could maybe get Spirit Stones up there. It's good play from Death from Below, not panic retreating the Farseer. Now they can push maybe onto the VP. They can use this Sentinel as heavy cover actually. Farseer goes in. I think she should have stayed back a bit. She could be focused down quite quickly. Yeah, even Lasguns will do it. Here's the Howling Banshees. Catechins are in play. Very good disruption. There's a shotgun blast. Does a shotgun blast only come from a single model? It came from the guy not holding the shotgun. That was strange. That was a strange look. Guide on the Shuriken. Ah, but the combat's over. Both of these players have a Shuriken. Catechin's going to have their hands full disrupting everything. There's only one. Maybe Soul Reaver will get Catechins as well, or some Spotters. E1's got some. And they are capping Northeastern VP. Sentinel's a bit low for this kind of malarkey. Lord Commissar gets the Carapace armor. The Lord General can of course get Carapace armor and use Stand Firm. Down goes the Warp Spider Exarch. He was trying to decap the wreck point maybe. Farseer needs to be careful. Howling Banshee's war shouting. The war shout suppresses infantry, so doesn't do anything against the Sentinel, but I think they wanted to suppress those guardsmen. The Farseer is very, very low. Waiting for the cooldown on spiritual rights, perhaps. Oh, she's going to revive the Warp Spider, and then she can use the heal. Yep, there we go. Levels her up, and there's the heal. Nicely done. Healed them both. Decent special from the Inquisitor. She's all fancy, so she gets a plasma gun immediately. Although a lot of the plasma guns are still really bad in this game. Some of them are decent. I think the Plague Champion gets a decent one, like 13 DPS. But if you get the axe for the Tech Marine, for example, it's like 8 DPS plasma pistol. What's the point of that? I mean, not to mention how bad the Farseer's sidearm is as well. She gets Hammer of the Witches to the neck and goes down. 499 to 458 on the VPs. Double catechins here for Adreva. Who needs Carapace armor when you just knock everything over? 2-to-1 cap for the guard. Up in the northeast, though. It's a bunch of Eldar stuff getting knocked over there. Catechins then run. Shuriken pushing up aggressively. Maybe they're trying to hit the power. Something needs to cap, though. Rangers can cap. Yeah, Rangers can cap. These guys can harass power. And here's OrangeMuppet to help out. These guys facing... Oh, Warp Spider Exarch went down. Trying to cap this, look. Good place for the Shuriken. These guys don't have grenades, though. That would have been a great time to push forward and use some grenades. There's the Catechins from super far away using their grenade barrage thing. The all reliable. And that's cracked shots on the Guardian weapon team, but they were disrupted when he used it, I think. That's from the global bar of the Warp Spider Exarch, boosting damage and range, much like the Farseer's guide ability. Immolator. Immolator into Disruptor, really classic combo against Guardsmen. They tend to blob up like this with multiple squads. And you can do some good work with it. 487 to 438 on the VPs. Rangers get another volley off. Move and shoot is how you use snipers. Good, good, good. Wraith Guard on the way for OrangeMuppet. Get 2 of them, I say. Use crack shot on them liberally. Banshees almost took down the Inquisitor there. Saved by the Sentinel Stomp. Well played by Soul Reaver. There's the tier 2 for Adreva. Looks like John is going to be the last player in tier 1. Don't see any grenades whatsoever. Oh, Death from Below just lost some Guardians over here. Double Catretons were on them, maybe. Sentinel down. I keep just missing things. Pew pew from John gets it done. Maybe we'll see the Falchu's Wing from Warlock as well to buff things up. Those Catechins almost wiped. Look at that. Other Catechins with some good disruption, though. Oh, we do see him. Oh, we do see the stand firm. Okay. I thought maybe we'd see incoming instead because of the Catechins, but it's nice to have that guaranteed suppression immunity, isn't it? Here's the Wraith Guard with their terrifying Wraith Cannons. Their sight and speed boosted by the Spirit Seer Warlock here, which is something the Warlock hero and the Farseer hero both also provide to nearby Wraith Guard. The Warp Spider Exarch doesn't. And he's still down, by the way. It is indeed double Wraith Guard. These Wraith Cannons suppress infantry, deal good area of effect damage to all targets. Can they get a good volley here? A really good volley against those Catechins. Almost wiped them out with some Guardian support. Crack shot on these guys, look. Their big weakness is being tied up in melee. Because you can't suppress these guys either. You know, they're essentially Eldar robots. They don't care about... They don't get suppressed. They've run off. Lord Commissar needs to get in there quickly and tie them up. Or Ogryns. We got Ogryns up for Adreva. I can't select the Commissar. He's inside the Chimera here. Chimera allows you to reinforce off it. And we have a Primaris Cycle up for Soul Reaver. Awesome. Got a great help against the Banshees. They start off... He starts off with Terrifying Visions, which will suppress them. And he can get the amazing Strip Soul, which slows the unit down and makes it more vulnerable to melee attacks. I think you take 30% more melee attacks when you're being Strip Souled, which is, of course, great synergy with Ogryns. And he can throw the Telekinetic Dome on them to boost their melee skill and give them some damage resistance. He really boosts Ogryns quite a lot, that Psyker. But, you know, your hero can be throwing out some good melee as well, so we can help those fellas out as well. Inquisitor can get the brazier. 422 to 422. Wraithguard getting some volleys. Didn't suppress them though. Ogryns have their bonehead leader, who can use your red and knock stuff over. That is a creeping barrage. One thing about the Eldar having somewhat kind of vulnerable infantry units for the most part. I mean, they do have some tough infantry, but the Imperial Guard rocket run is so devastating to infantry. Eldar can really suffer a lot from it. We'll see if we see one of those rocket runs later on. Warp Spiders on the way for death from below. Ogryns run away. And they get some early volleys on the Ogryns from these Wraithguard to keep them suppressed early. Stand Firm, of course, will help with that. But if you force him to use it early, you have a better chance of dealing the damage. This is Guard pushing across the south. Primaris Psychic is there. He's taken some damage. Looks like he has Diviner's Foresight, which means he can use health to power his abilities instead of energy, because things like Strip Soul are channeled. So he can channel them for a long time if he switches to using health and that kind of thing. He's off the field at the moment though. He's also got a really good basic attack, the Primaris Psyker. Slightly underrated and underutilized, I think, maybe. Oh, Falcon goes down pretty damn quick. Stormtroopers getting it done with their melter guns on the anti-armor kit, eh? Did they even use their melter bomb? Don't think they did because of their energy, the energy they have. Probably called in by the Inquisitor, so you can call in some Stormtroopers. 418 to 367 up in the northeast. Is that entangling web? It is really bad news for the Ogryns. Can't do much about that. Just completely immobilizes them. You have another Falcon now from John. Manticore on the way for Adreva, and a heavy weapon squad for E1. Some Catachans set on fire. Look at the pressure the Commissar's putting on. Made all of these guys back off. Lord General's in there in melee as well, tying up the Wraithguard because they have cracked shot on them. Falcon's got some good firepower and allows you to reinforce off it. Kind of like the Chimera, but better weapons. Although with the Chimera you can get inside of it and shoot out the little guns on top for some extra oomph. Lord Commissar's a big problem so far, isn't he? He's got his Power Claw. Carapace Armor for more health and more health regen. And buffing himself off his Inspire Courage. And there's Stubbornness too. And as I big him up, of course, he gets blasted to death. But he did well there for a little while. These Wraithguard are inside the Falcon and popping out the top. A las cannon is in play, trying to get the Falcon, I guess. OrangeMuppet just dropped a unit somewhere. Who died? Guess it was one of his Guardians. Not sure where. Primaris Psyker on capping duty. Still level 1. I know the, I think it's the Librarian. Not sure if they changed this, but previously at least, when the Librarian got to level 4, he would get big bonuses, like a massive bonus to energy and health and stuff. But they may have normalized that and taken that away at some point. So I was wondering if the Primaris Psyker got the same thing. Down goes the second Falcon, and again, it's these Stormtroopers of Soul Reaver getting it done. John's not happy. 400 to 359. Are these guys going to run? OrangeMuppet needs to run them. There we go. Didn't even drop a model yet. And they almost leveled. Here comes the Warlock. He's not happy. Jumps on some fellas and runs away. Tier 3 for all of the Eldar. And only one player got Wraithguard. They couldn't get their Falcons to work. Double Warp Spiders is interesting though. Good DPS to infantry, and they have those Haywire grenades. The map looking quite blue at the moment. Can the Imperial Guard start stabilizing up here with maybe the heavy turrets of the Lords General and stuff? Get some bunkers. Can even get the mobile beacon from the Chimera. Big push here as well. Basilisk Flare fired in from the Lord Commissar to shut down the range of things. Helps the Ogrins approach, look. And there's Use Your Red to knock things down. Not sure why they were getting so close to base there. Chimera's way too far forward, goes down. Haywires took it out. Look how far forward the Manticore is. What is it doing? Farseer didn't seem to... Oh, she was using Psychic Storm. I thought she was using the Levitation Field. I was wondering why weren't things being thrown into the air. It's because she was Psychic Storming them. 2-to-1 cap here for the Guard. 400 to 284. Eldar need to very quickly sweep across the map here and cap some stuff. These guys were trying to decap the wreck point and they got caught with the las cannon. E1 had a bad fight there, it must be said. Down to just guardsmen with Commissar and stuff and plasma guns and this heavy weapons squad. Lord Commissar down. Fire Prism on the way for TheOrangeMuppet. Is that a good idea? We've seen what these Stormtroopers can do. And we know what a Lehman Musk can do to a Fire Prism. I think you need to keep it way, way back if you get one. And you need to have eyes on it like a hawk because of these sneaky Stormtroopers. There's the telekinetic dome. It gives ranged and melee damage resistance and boosts your melee skill. So it's pretty versatile. Just throw it up and it's doing good stuff for you. Tier 3 for Adreva now. Another Fire Prism, this time for John. Warp Spider's caught out of position a bit. But these guys can back off and try to hold. Wraith Guard doing Wraith Guard things. Look at that. Backed up by the Shurikens so they can't be approached very easily. I think the Manticore just shot somewhere. I thought it would shoot at the Wraith Guard, but it didn't. There's Crack Shot again. He's using it a lot, TheOrangeMuppet, which I think is the way to do it. Throw it up every fight if he can. Basilisk Flare used really well to mess with the Wraith Guard. Needs to have eyes out for that and back off as soon as he sees it. Look how far forward this Fire Prism is. That was crazy. Fire Prism goes down. TheOrangeMuppet is confused. Maybe he didn't mean to move it up this far, but that was way, way, way too far forward. Here comes an Avatar now for John. I think he cancelled the Fire Prism. Got some webways around. Big bonus for the Eldar to use these guys. Inquisitors down. Banshees are doing well, eh? Although they haven't leveled yet. Kassakin on the way for E1. That is a Stormlord, I believe, for Soul Reaver. Yes, it is. Powerful anti-infantry, super heavy tank that you can use to reinforce. The Guard take the northeast. Eldar with a 2-to-1 and a slight VP lead, though. They did really well after that big pushback to get the points. And this is well played down here from Death From Below. Another Avatar. In my opinion, you should take both of them to the same place, because if you double up the Avatars with their 5,600 hit points, that becomes like overbearing amount of hit points to try to deal damage to. And I think they'll fare a lot better if you team them up. We do have Plasma Guardsmen and potentially more Plasma Guardsmen who can do some good work against an Avatar. Look at the damage from the Psyker. Almost deleted those Warp Spiders with his basic attack. He also has Ethereal Wave or whatever it's called. That's really good. Where is that Stormlord gonna go is the thing. Eldar cap the northeast, 2-to-1 again. And there's that Avatar. Super unit for Eldar. Provides awesome buffs to nearby infantry. Suppression immunity. And a damage and a defensive resistance buff, I believe. He's pretty awesome. Also really powerful in combat. Vulnerable to plasma and melter and power melee and that kind of thing. Not sure if the Ogrins want to fight him though. 229 to 270. Crack. That guy's super dead. Manticore strike on the Wraith Guard. But they tough it out with the avatar buffs, I guess. Oh no, Spirit Seer Warlock went down, which stunned these guys. That was a really short stun. Is that how short it is now? Oh, I think because the Warlock showed up and gave them the Spirit Seer buffs again. He's got a Witchblade of Kurnus now. And the Warp Throw. And Providence. He is ready to roll late game, this guy. There's the second avatar. Death from Below did bring it up here. There's a Wailing Doom. Can they deal with double avatars in the same fight? Kassakin can get plasma guns as well, or melter guns. That'll mess these guys up a bit. That guy super died. That was the Lord Commissar there. And here's the Stormlord. And the Stormlord's going to die, I think. It's going to get Eldritched. And there's double Wraith Guard and 2 avatars here. Is it? I don't think it's going to get away. And there's another Eldritch. It's super dead. I think it helped get the... I saw on the minimap, I think it killed the Farseer down in the bottom of the map. But down it goes. There were even some fellas inside of it. Look, yeah, I think it killed the Farseer here. But then didn't last long. Another avatar on the way and a Seer Council. And there's that Warp Throw. Warp Throw is so bloody good. Warp Throw into Ethereal Slash there. Another Ethereal Slash. Providence is active. And now he runs. Inferno Pistols in. Judgment up on that avatar. This avatar's getting way too aggro. It's being dragged too far forward, I think. Now it feels like it's committed to these fights. I don't know if it can get away, you know. They got dragged and dragged and dragged further into further fights. It's taken las cannon shots, Inferno Pistol shots. Judgment just went off. There's plasma guns in there. Down he goes. 120 red for killing an avatar. 133 to 270. One avatar still alive, and there's a second one. Well, a third. But second on the field coming from OrangeMuppet. And there's a Seer Council. And these guys can soak up damage pretty well too. With a damage resistance aura that they benefit from themselves. And I assume that stacks with the avatar's aura. Getting their fancy spears so they can chase down the Manticore. No Leman Russes yet, eh? Couldn't get their tier 3s rolling super well. They got the Stormlord rolling. And it could have been great. But it just in a bad place, bad time, unsupported. And they had the Eldritches in the pocket. Rocket run. Pretty good one. Do they have any of those? Any more of those? E1's got one, I think. Here's the avatar of OrangeMuppet. Lord Commissar healing up like crazy because of stubbornness, but now he's alone. And needs to run. Down goes the heavy weapon squad. Catachin's doing what they can against the Seer Council, but good luck against an avatar, fellas. There's a Wailing Doom. Didn't quite place it on their retreat path, but... And also hits the friendly Warlock, who's level 5. Level 3 Warp Spider Exarch with the Entangling Web. Got a level 5 Farseer. Level 6 Lord Commissar. Level 5 Lord General. Does he have any retinue? He doesn't have any more retinue. And a level 4 Inquisitor. Avatar's backing off. Taking a bunch of damage as he does so. Slowed down by the las cannon. What is this? Banshee's War shouting on the natural VP, which has turned blue. Alongside a Seer Council here. Not a fight that the Inquisitor wants, really. Now the Banshees can cap. The Avatar did get away. There's crack shot again on the Wraith Guard. Awesome buff for them. Commissar goes straight after him though. Need to try and focus that guy down a bit. Entangling Web could help. 61 to 248. Avatar soaking up the damage. Crack shot still on those Wraith Guard. Look, I think it lasts like 20 seconds or something. Those Ogren's got obliterated, but they do get away. Grenades. And a Demon Russ. And a Rocket Run. How's the second run? Not so great. First run was good. Double Wraith Guard trying to get onto the Demon Russ, but they decide not to chase, I guess. Oh, but the Warp Spiders are chasing. There's a Haywire. I don't think the other squad had enough energy to use it, maybe. Or was that two? Yeah, Wraith Guard get Commissar again. See, Council counter-initiating, though. Good knockbacks. Oh, the game is going to end. It's a double cap for the Eldar. I wasn't paying attention to the VPs. Farseer down again over here. Great work from deathfrombelow harassing his VP, it seems like. Eldar came back so strong in Tier 3. Avatars were awesome. The Seer Council were awesome. Fire Prisms not so much. Did John get a Fire Prism and lose it and I just didn't see? Or was it just cancelled? Who knows? Victory for the Eldar. Thanks to these guys for playing us a faction war and sending it in. I'm not sure if it was planned or if it just was a happy accident. But I enjoyed it. Hope you guys did. And I'll see ya next time.